ABC News legal contributor, host at the Law and Crime Network, Brian Buckmire, joins me now for more on this. Brian, Alec Murdaugh admitted to some of these financial crimes during his testimony in the murder case. So why plead not guilty now?
Diane, I think that they're waiting for something. Now, he doesn't have a lot of leverage to negotiate. I think at the best, he's hoping that he can reduce his sentence and probably spend most, if not all, of his jail time for both the state and federal cases in a federal penitentiary. Typically, the federal detention centers or prisons are a lot better than those of state, and I would say they're probably absolutely better than that of South Carolina prisons.
Brian, his attorneys have hinted that his plea might change. So what's the strategy? They continue to plead not guilty as they try to negotiate a plea deal in the background?
Absolutely, Diane, and that's perfect. That's why one day you and I are going to do a trial together. They're trying to put all the eggs in one basket to try to resolve this all at once. There are the state financial crimes. There are the federal financial crimes. There are civil cases. And what they want to do is resolve all of these criminal cases to create as little, if not minimal, exposure to the civil cases. And before they can resolve one, they have to figure out how to solve all others before he starts taking guilty pleas.
Now, how long can that strategy go on? Could they take this all the way to a verdict while hoping to broker a deal like this?
Technically speaking, and it's not the worst strategy in the world, this strategy can be kicked down the path up until probably a jury is selected. We've often seen trials where on the verge of trial in the 11th hour, a plea is struck because the prosecution doesn't want to drag in all of their witnesses and have testimony after testimony prove what we all pretty much know and what Alec Murdaugh all but testified to in his state double murder trial.
But his attorneys have also said they don't believe this federal case will even go to trial. Why is that? Do they think they'll reach a deal before then?
Absolutely. I think for the prosecution, they know that they have all the cards in their hands. The defense has to come to them. And I don't think the defense has enough leverage to make any kind of real argument other than, hey, if he takes his plea, can he stay in this facility? Or, hey, if he takes his plea, he's got information that he can give you. Is this information worth enough to you to give us what we're asking for? That might be another reason as to why the delay. He might be giving information because we're hearing that he's cooperating with the federal investigation, and they might be seeing as to whether or not that information is verified or whether or not it's valuable enough to give Alec Murdaugh any kind of deal, yet alone the one he's asking for.
And Brian, he's still facing 99 state charges for alleged financial crimes. So what's the latest on that front?
Those are still moving forward, more likely than not, as we're hearing more about the federal case. The state charges may be looking at what the federal government do. Because while Alec Murdaugh did testify on the stand admitting to many of the financial crimes, in South Carolina, you cannot use a defendant's testimony from one case as what we call a chief in case, meaning the prosecutor's main case in another. He would have to take the stand and they can impeach him based on what he said in the first trial. But the federal government, they don't have those types of restrictions. So if the feds can get him for a good amount of jail time, the state of South Carolina may say, you know what, we're going to forego this, or maybe we'll advance this case in a different path because of what's happening in the other federal and the state double murder trial.
But speaking of the double murder trial, Murdaugh is already sentenced to life in prison for murdering his wife and son. So why does any of this really matter?
There's still the appeal. He's hopeful that he can win this case. It's similar to that of other cases we've followed, like Harvey Weinstein, where he had case upon case upon case from different coasts of the actual country, where he's hoping that he can win in South Carolina, that battle there, and not have to worry about those charges or that sentence, and then maybe pick apart the financial crimes or reduce a life sentence. Right now, he's going to probably be behind bars for the rest of his natural life, but if he can try to win one appeal at a time or negotiate a case here or there, he's trying to maybe see the light of day in some decades from now.
All right, we will be watching this case closely. Brian Buckmire, appreciate your analysis. As always, thank you, co-counsel.
My pleasure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.